What had the Japanese, they had dug in at Gona? Were pillboxes, the Japanese? They dug in?
They had, when they landed at Gona and Guna, they spent 6 weeks or thereabouts constructing virtually what were pillboxes made out of earth, 44-gallon drums filled with earth, dug to considerable depths, then reinforced with the trunks of coconut palms, and then covered with earth and heavily camouflaged. And this is what Australian troops had to attack. They're just walking straight into machine guns.
So what was it, just like World War One? Just get out and march straight into
the stupidity was the equivalent of the warfare, in the First World War, in the Second World or the First World War.
Mm. And you were saying that we could have came in from the back with the Navy and bombed them.
They could have shelled them from the sea. They could have bombed. We had superior. We were superior in the air. They could have just bombed that restricted stretch, just a few hundred yards from the sea of the Japanese fortifications.
So all those soldiers that had fought through with you, that they lost their lives basically on Gona. Yeah, a lot of them.
Purely because of the decisions made by MacArthur and Blamey.
So after Gona, where did you go there from there, Bill?
We came back to Australia and we were there for a while, and then subsequently they took us back to Port Moresby and then into the Ramu Valley. When we were camped as they were planning for NADZAB in the Ramu Valley. This is in the very early stages. I think we were camped about 3 miles away. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was jolted out of bed. I'm not out of bed, but in my bed. And we found out next morning what had happened. The army had put a marshalling yard for the troops at the end of an airstrip. There are 6 trucks with 20 Australian troops in the trucks, 6 lined up, ready to embark to be flown into the Ramu Valley. A Lancaster laden with bombs and fuel to bomb Rabaul had taken off on the airstrip, failed to become airborne, but came airborne just sufficiently to land on the 6 trucks. The Lancaster, laden with bombs, laden with fuel. They had, naturally everyone was blown to shreds. They had 18 padres, because there are all sorts at that stage, all sorts of units, and most of them had a padre. 18 padres picking up the pieces, but 120 men were killed in that. Then we were flown in DC-3s into NADZAB, and we immediately set off up the valley, and it culminated in the Shaggy Ridge episode. But the first night when we got to NADZAB, but not the first night, probably 2 or 3 nights later, we occupied a village. We're right in the centre of the valley with huge ranges on either side. But this was a flat open space in kunai grass, and with the isolated villages like little oases actually in the centre. We got into this particular one, and the night before an independent company had at dawn gone through in extended line and probably killed, say, 150 or a couple hundred Japanese. They'd caught them all asleep, and etc. Now, we occupied it at, say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock. And they thought it would be re-attacked, so we had to actually occupy it with all these dead bodies, all swollen up in the sun, etc. And the stench was absolutely unbearable. And all night, the pigs were coming down from the surrounding ranges and eating these bodies. And we didn't know whether they were Japanese because they were expecting a Japanese attack. So we're here with there's a huge number of Japanese who had been killed in a hot tropical, night, and we wake up in the morning and fortunately nothing, we weren't attacked. Anyway, that was just one illustration.
How from my side, I've never seen anything like that in my life. How did you keep your sanity amongst all this carnage?
Well, I think everybody had to dismiss everything that they'd seen from their mind. Completely dismiss it. Yeah. After the Ramu Valley, we went back to the Atherton Tableland. Then, later on, we were on the Atherton Tableland and we were sent to Borneo for landing at Balikpapan, and we were in pursuit of the Japanese. When the day the war ended, I was on a 5-day patrol behind the Japanese lines. We knew the war was going to end. We'd been listening to the wireless and they were dropping these atomic bombs on Japan. And they sent us out on a 5-day patrol.
What was your feeling at the end of the war when you heard the war had ended?
Oh, it was fantastic.